Yeah, hello. Today we're going to discuss the major modes 251, and this is Jazz Scales and Harmony video number 1. I'm using the Jazz Piano book by Mark Levine. You might have a later edition. This one is from the 90s, but it's pretty much the same content. So we're going to go through the major modes. A major scale is like a C major scale, for instance. Now, if you start playing from the various scale degrees of the scale, you will get these keys. You will get first the Dorian, Swedish Dorisk, and then Phrygian, and then Lydian, and then Mixolydian, and then Aeolian, and then Locrian. Okay, so all these scales are contained and can be found within the C major scale. Now, some people ask me, well, what's the difference if I play this and I play C major? Yeah, if I play C major, I usually have these chords C, F, G, and C, which is 1, 4, 5, 1, which I use in classical harmony. In jazz, I will use D, and then I will use G7 to C major 7, and that's what's called 2, 5, 1. Okay? Now, the difference is if I play, as to speak, modal music, then I stay within the mode. So if I take, for instance, F Lydian, then it's going to be a different thing. I won't play 2 and then 5, 1. It doesn't really make sense. So it's different harmonies. I'm going to emphasize the second step, G over F. Why do I do this? Because in the F Lydian scale, what's distinguishing it from other scales is the sharp 11 or the raised 4th notes. Instead of playing like an F major scale, I play. So I want to find chords which emphasize this, and that would be like G, the G chord to the F. So if I would improvise in the Lydian, I might go. Could play an F pedal to emphasize the modal aspect of it. It's not 2, 5, 1 like an F, it's F Lydian. I could go out, maybe play F, G, D, E minor, and F. So in modal harmony, we focus around the center all the time. Usually we play the root, not always, but a typical Lydian sound would be this. For Phrygian, E Phrygian, I would play E minor and then play F on top of it. Why is that? Well, because in E Phrygian the characteristic note of the scale is the flat second. And I get that if I play F on top of E and then to E minor. So the major difference between just thinking, well, it's all C major, what's the difference, is if you start playing modal harmony, where you say this song is in, for instance, F Lydian or in E Phrygian. Because then you get very specific sounds within that scale. Now, we're going to look at these scales and see what's specific about them. So if we turn the page, we have the Ionian scale, and the characteristic notes here is of course the third, which makes it sound major, and then the major seventh within that scale. And we also get that chord, the C major 7. If we go to the second scale, which is the D Dorian, Dorisk, we get this kind of structure, D minor 7. And the difference between the Dorian scale is we have the raised sixth. Instead of playing a natural D minor, we play, and this makes the Dorian scale sound a bit more brighter. Yes, and then we have the Locrian scale, which is in E minor 7. The characteristic note here is the flat 2. And the Lydian scale, the characteristic note here is the sharp 4, raised 4th. The Mixolydian, that's a G7 chord. The characteristic note here is the flat 7, instead of a major 7, as if it was a G major scale. And then we have A minor 7. And the characteristic note here is the flat 6, which distinguishes it from a Dorian scale. A Dorian would be, but here it's A Aeolian. And then we have the Locrian scale, where the characteristic tone is the flat at 5th, and also the flat 2. And that's the B minor 7 flat 5 chord. So over all minor 7 flat 5 chords we would play a Locrian scale. Right. Now let's move on to 251. The chapter 3 No Voicing, it's called. This is where he begins studying 251. So in C major, 251 would be 251, referring to the root 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the chord we already discussed on the second degree is D minor 7. On the fifth, it's a G7, and the one chord is a C major 7. Now in Levine's book he's decided to work with guide tones, which is in D minor 7, the 3rd and the 7th. And this 2, 5 will then go to the 3rd and the 7th here, and then to 1 will be the 7th and the 3rd. So when we play jazz and we go root motion with fifths here, we will always have 7 going to 3 and 3 to 7. I repeat. 3, 7. Now in G, this is a 7 and 3rd. The root, 3rd and 7. Okay? That's the way it goes. Yes. So, and we can play it also like this. We can have the 7th, the lowest, and then G to C major 7. And why these are important is because they guide the entire harmony. I can play a solo. So these, here on the left hand, if I have a bass player going, I can hear the harmony. because these are the most essential tones. These are also the basis if we start comping with two-hand voicings. I have the guide tones here, and then I will go. And play various kind of structures here in the right hand. But I have the guide tones in the left hand. Now you can practice this cycle of fifths. So I will go C first, and then we'll go 2, 5, 1. Then if I go down to F, I would think F, well, that's the G minor 7 is the second chord. 2, 5, the fifth is the C7 to F. And then I will go B flat and think B flat major scale. What is the second? Oh, it's C, so then it'll be C minor 7, F7, B flat 7. And that way I can go around the circle of fifths. That's a good practice. Okay, so that's a brief introduction. I hope you will enjoy the studies with Mark Levine's book, The Bible, the Jazz Piano Book. And I hope this video was a big help to you. My name is Adam Skinner. Cheers.